So yeah, I was listening to him, and he was saying that 40%, I'm going to get this wrong, I'm sure, but I'm going to put the chart up here so you can see for yourself, because I probably am not remembering this correctly. But I think he said 40% of American households have nothing saved for retirement. And then there's another percentage that have less than 100 grand saved. And then the minority had, over 100 grand saved. They're the minority. We're not the minority. They're the minority. So there. Okay, since my daughter and granddaughter are coming down this week, I thought it was time to clean my little guest bathroom. It's little, it's not very big, but I think it's absolutely darling. It's one of my favorite rooms in the house. So yeah, I'm going to spruce it up a little and get it ready for them. Hey guys, happy Sunday. I am in the middle of cleaning. My daughter and granddaughter are coming down this week. And so I thought I should clean the guest bathroom and the guest bedroom. And that's the picture you saw before. This was the guest bathroom. And the reason that the guest bathroom even gets as dirty as it does is because since it's just me and my husband here, we were sharing, the master bathroom, and it's huge. It's got 2 sinks and everything, but I would take up the whole room. I would just spread out. I'd have makeup and hair stuff, and he got just the little, his toothbrush and his razor. So, and it was ridiculous. But in the guest bathroom, it's tiny. The vanity is small, so I can't go crazy and spread out. I have to be careful. So it's actually easier to do it this way. So yeah, this is what it looks like clean. I still got to do the floor. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to do the mirror. But I wanted to take a break and have some coffee, and I wanted to talk to you guys because while I'm doing all this, I'm listening to some of my favorite money guru guys. And today, I think his name is Azul. He's just got a nice demeanor. He seems like a very nice man. I would trust him with my money. Dave Ramsey is a little too rough for me. I know a lot of people like him because he's, I don't like that. He's a little bit scary, but yeah, he's good at what he does, but different personalities like different personalities, and that turns me off. But anyway, so yeah, I was listening to him, and he was saying that 40%, I'm going to get this wrong, I'm sure, but I'm going to put the chart up here so you can see for yourself, because I probably am not remembering this correctly. But I think he said 40% of American households have nothing saved for retirement. And then there's another percentage that have less than 100 grand saved. And then the minority had, over 100 grand saved. They're the minority. We're not the minority. They're the minority. So there, so quit coming at me. I'm not the only one. And he explained why. It's not because we were just like in La La Land, the economy sucks, especially after COVID. Pay rate took a dive. People aren't making as much, so they can't save as much. That's a big part of it. A lot of people, their savings was in their house, their equity. And now, it's unsure of, this isn't a good time to sell for them. So they can't necessarily get their money out right now. And there's all kinds of factors. So it's not just a matter of people being stupid and not saving like they should, or not being financially savvy like some of us. A lot of people have had to live paycheck to paycheck. And I know if you haven't, you don't understand. But there are plenty of us that do. And those are the people that I like to talk to. Those are the people that understand. And, I started thinking today about my grandmother and my husband's grandmother. And they were both widows. And they both lived off of Social Security. And neither one of them had $1 in the bank. And I grew up with my grandma. She was fine. She lived in one of those I think they were like low cost senior apartments. And I remember loving to go see her because she had the cutest little studio apartment. She had like a kitchen area and the living room, and then she had her own bedroom and then a bathroom. And my grandma was an artist. And so she had all her stuff up, and she always was real bohemian, so her place was adorable even back then. And she didn't drive, so she didn't have a car. She didn't have to worry about, maintenance and the car payment and gas and all that. So whatever little bit of money she got, which wasn't a lot because my grandfather died in his 40s and my grandmother hadn't worked until then. Although eventually she got a job playing piano in for silent movies. She was so cool. But yeah, so I don't know what she got for Social Security, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a lot. But it was enough that she was able to live in this darling little apartment. And we would go pick her up on the weekends and she'd come over to our place. And, she had a lot of kids and she had a lot of grandkids. And so we all took turns, going out and seeing her and visiting with her. And she was always fun. I loved my grandma. She wasn't like, oh, woe is me, I'm so poor, and she was fine. And I think she had Medicare or Medi-Cal, and she lived, and she didn't have any money in the bank. And the same with my husband's grandmother. She was from Czechoslovakia. She barely spoke English. And we would go visit her and she would make a strudel, and she was a doll. She was sweet. And same thing, same situation. Her husband passed away. I think he was only in his 50s. It's a sad story. It's not mine to tell. But anyway, she was, a widow at a fairly young age. And same thing, she didn't drive. She barely knew the language. There was no insurance policy or nothing. And she just lived off of Social Security in a cute little apartment. And again, she was fine, but it's like we forget that people did do it. We just assume all of us need to have lots of money and do all these wonderful things, but unfortunately not all of us are going to be able to. It's just the way of the world. We're not all going to be wealthy, and you know what, believe it or not, we can still be happy. Actually, I think I'm probably a lot happier than the people that leave me the rudest comments. I mean, like I said, only unhappy people are so rude, because happy people are nice, so obviously they're very lonely and they can't imagine having a life without money, because nobody's going to come pick them up. Nobody's going to want to hang out with them, probably not even their family. As jerky as they are to me, I can imagine how they are with their family and if they have any friends. So yeah, it made me feel a lot better just listening to them. I realized, yeah, we're not the abnormal ones after all. Sure, we would like to have more money, and maybe we can. It's still a possibility. Like I said, we're learning how to invest. Our son's helping us, and I am unretired. I'm still working, so things could turn around for us. But if not, it's not going to be the end of the world. If I would have to live in a little apartment like that, I would be, I would make the best of it. I would decorate it really cute, and I would have my girlfriends over and we would do luncheons and, take the little bus that they have that goes to Vegas. There's a little turnaround bus, and they come and they pick them up, and then, they have classes. I would be fine. And I'm sure a lot of you will be too. But you grumpy, grouchy ones that think that everybody has to have tons of money to have a good life, you need to check yourself. You need to retrain yourself, because that's not what it's all about. Sure, money is a great tool and it makes things comfortable, but it's not going to make you happy. If you're already that unhappy, all the money in the world isn't going to change that for you. You need to read some books, or maybe, I don't know, go online or talk to people, whatever. Anyway, I didn't even make my coffee yet. I was going to make some coffee and sit down and talk to you. I've already talked 7. Oh, I still got more time, unless you guys are in a hurry. Okay, I'm going to make some coffee, and then we're going to switch rooms and we're going to finish this conversation, and I'm going to listen to them and make sure that I had the numbers correct before I go on anymore. So just give me a minute. Okay, now we're going to clean up the guest bedroom. This actually used to be my daughter's bedroom when she lived with us, and it has since become my set, as you can tell. And there's my little Jazzy Jazz, the sweetest little kitty in the whole world. And he's been so sick, but he's finally starting to feel better. So yeah, I'm going to clean this up and grab my coffee, and we're going to talk a little bit more. So stay with me. Okay, so now I'm in the guest room. And obviously I use this room a lot. So it's kind of become like my set, my office. And another dumping ground for things that I don't know where to put. So I do have to clean it up. It used to be my daughter's room when she lived here. So I want to make sure it's clean and comfy. So I'm going to work on that next. But I also wanted to finish talking about my grandmother because she was really interesting. I think you guys might like hearing about this. She was a really cool old lady. Even though she was poor, didn't have two nickels to rub together, as they say. I mean, even on like birthdays and Christmases, she never bought anything for us kids. She didn't have it. But you know what? We never thought about it. Nobody ever thought about, the fact that grandma didn't buy us anything. Um, it just, I don't know. It just never even occurred to me. But she was always around. We'd go pick her up and she'd spend the holidays with us. And she had a great personality. It was fun just to be around her because she was happy and bubbly and she was interesting. Oh my God, she was so interesting. She was a reader. She read a lot and she liked people that were different. She hung out with a more bohemian crowd. Although if you saw her, you wouldn't think that. She was very glamorous. I've never seen her wear a pair of slacks in her life. She always wore dresses and heels, never flats. And she used to smoke, but she had those long cigarette holders. And I just remember her smoking her cigarettes. And to me, she looked like just my idea of a diva. She just looked amazing. And she wasn't like overly beautiful. She was a handsome woman. Yeah, she was a handsome woman. She had short hair and she dyed it. She was, kind of a redhead. And she had long eyelashes. I remember she always wore lipstick and mascara and powder. But my mom was a beauty. She was a beautiful woman inside and out. But her mom had more personality than my mom. My mom was a doll. I'm not saying anything bad about her. She was a wonderful, wonderful person. But her mom she was just a very charismatic person and everybody loved to be around her and she had stories and she was just a wonderful woman. But not all of us felt the same about her. My younger brother doesn't remember her in the same light I do because by the time he came along, she had gotten older and she was sick and she had become grumpy and she wasn't crazy about him because he was little and noisy and he irritated her. So I guess she did yell at him a lot, but she liked me and I loved her. And I think that's why she liked me because I loved her so much. I thought she was so great. But I remember like the stories that we would all tell about her after she passed away, like my cousins that were in their 20s at the time, they would go pick her up and bring her to their house. And they had no furniture. They were, young kids. And she'd come to their house. She'd sit on a pile of pillows on the floor, smoking her cigarette. And they were smoking not cigarettes, but other stuff at the time. Didn't even phase her. She didn't care. She didn't do it, but she was a live and let live kind of person. She's like, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. But and she'd just sit there and visit and smile and everybody, she didn't care, young, old, everybody. She loved everybody and everybody just loved talking with her. And like I said, in later years, she ended up playing the piano at the movie theaters for silent films. I thought, well, that would be an interesting job. And I don't know, she was just so fun, but yet poor as can be, had no money. And she didn't even have money before her husband passed away. She had 7 kids. Boom, boom, boom. And from what I understood, she wasn't the most nurturing mom. She did like to lay in bed and read books, according to my mom. And all of the kids left home at a very young age. I think, my mom, she left when she was 17. Her sister was 15. They all left, and I think a lot of it was because the father had passed away. He was, like I said, in his 40s. He had a heart attack, and I think he was a mechanic, and he was movie star handsome. And I've seen pictures, and he really was very, very handsome man. And but yeah, they didn't have a lot of money. They had a big family. They all, loved each other and hung out. And I think that continued with my mom. My mom ended up having 7 kids as well. And I just always remember having lots of family around and it being fun as a kid. And so I've tried to do that with my kids. I only had 3, but I have 8 grandkids. And if you know me, for a long time now, I've always made sure that my grandkids got together. We always have cousin sleepovers and parties and stuff. So they spend a lot of time together. As a matter of fact, that's what we're going to do this next weekend when my daughter and my granddaughter come to town. We're going to have a 3-day cousin fest. They're all going to stay here. We're just going to get a bunch of food and games and movies and just hang out and make memories. And it's not going to cost a lot of money. We're not going out and, going out to eat or going anywhere. We're just going to stay here and just enjoy each other's company and have fun. But that's, why I said in my last video, I never felt poor, because even though we didn't have a lot of money, we always had fun. We always had people around, and, we were never lonely. So I just never knew that I was poor. And I don't know, I guess poor is a relative term. We all have different ideas of what poor is. As long as you have food on the table and a roof over your head and people that love you and that you love, you're not poor. So in that respect, I was never poor. That financial guideline that I don't even know where they come up with that dictates, who's wealthy and who's not. It just, according to that guideline, I was considered upper poverty as far as our finances. But because we were frugal, we bought our first house when we were 25. We didn't have any help. $500. We did get $500 and we had to pay it back. But we bought our house ourselves. We did all the upgrades and everything on it ourselves. And so I thought we were doing good, because a lot of our friends weren't buying houses at that age, and it was actually cheaper to buy than it was to rent. Our mortgage payment was cheaper than our rent, which I never understood. People are like, oh, you can't afford to buy this house. And it's like, you're paying double on rent. It's like, oh yeah, I can make the payment. But anyway, what do I know about money? So if you do want to listen to somebody that's a good money man, I highly recommend him, Azul. I just think he's less intimidating. He's more, realistic. Like I said, Dave Ramsey, obviously he's good. The guy knows what he's talking about and people do like him. But, if you're in a position where you're feeling bad about yourself, you listen to him and you're just going to feel a lot worse. It's not like it's going to give you much hope. It's like, okay. I listen to him and it's like, my God. But I think, like I said, after listening to him and finding out, oh, my numbers were wrong, but I think maybe I'll put them on. I'll put the chart up where I said I was going to, and you'll see it wasn't 40%. It was 49.5%, almost 50% American homes have nothing saved. That's what that said. Am I reading that right? Am I making this up? It said 50%, 49.5% have no money saved for retirement. And then it went up to, I think, 8%. I'm not sure about that, have a little bit saved. And then people that have 50,000 on up, that was the smallest percentage of people. I think maybe 7%. I was shocked. I thought there was more than that. So, and apparently they all are coming to my page because, they're all telling me that they all have money and, what did I do wrong? And I have to repeat myself over and over because a lot of people watch that one video, not realizing it was 8 years ago. Things have changed. We're still alive, but we did have money saved. I keep having to say that we did not save. We did save, but then we had these incidents that happened and that depleted our savings. And so now the reason I'm unretired is I'm trying to, kind of put some money back while I can, so yeah. And because people still come at me for that. They're, and it's like, oh my God, does anybody watch these videos? Do they just read the title, or watch 2 minutes of it? It just drives me nuts. But I knew that going in. That's what the way it is, and I'm the same way. When I'm, looking for something to watch, I'll watch about 2 seconds and it's like, this guy's boring. This guy's boring. It's really got to grab my attention. And like I said, there's some of them that have, and I have so many subscriptions anymore. I can't even keep up with them all, but I just like the ones that are real. I want to hear from real people like me that, are trying to figure it out, because, not everybody has all their shite together by the time they're my age. Some of us, we're so busy just living, we didn't even think about, oh, we should be doing this or we should be doing that. We were living our lives. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I guess at this point in my life, I'm supposed to be doing this. I mean, I don't know why, who decided what we're supposed to be doing, but I think it's that whole American dream thing. You're supposed to grow up and get married, or what, you got to do it in order. You're supposed to grow up, go to school, then get married, then buy a house, then have kids. Like, how many of you did it that way? And if you did, kudos to you, because I grew up, I had a kid. No, I did. I got married, got pregnant, divorced my first husband, then I had a kid, met my second husband, who I've been married to for 43 years. And we moved in together. We lived in sin. And then we were married for about 5 years before I had my son, my second son. And that's when we bought a house after, we had our son. And as soon as we bought our house, I found out I was pregnant, like the day I was pregnant with my daughter, because I had been working. And then I found I was pregnant and I knew I wasn't going to be working. But it was okay, because honestly, our mortgage was cheaper than our rent. So we were actually in a better position at that point. But, and then I went to school. Years later, I started going to school. As my kids got older, I thought, I'm going to go back to school and take some night classes. And it took me forever, from I think 30 to 50. And I kept changing my major, what I wanted to do. And then I decided I like, I want to be an herbalist. I want to study holistic science. And I did, and it was fun. It was great. And I did nothing with it. I don't have a career or anything, but I do it. It's personal. I do enjoy it. But I mean, the wise thing would have been to actually go to school to get some skills, to get a good paying job. That would have been the wise thing to do. But I've never been known for being very wise, obviously, but I'm still happy. So, I'm doing something right, How long did I talk? Okay, 12 minutes, last one, 6. Okay, it's time to end this. But thanks again, you guys. I really appreciate you watching. And like I said, I keep getting more and more subscribers. I don't know where you guys are coming from, but I am so appreciative. And if you like this video, I have a bunch more like it. Try and look at my older ones. I do talk a lot more about my healthy lifestyle journey in my past videos. And a lot of them are very cringeworthy, as I was learning how to, I'm still learning, and I'm sure I'm going to cringe when I look back on these 6 months from now. But I'm going to have a better camera, at least now. I just got to learn how to use it, I've been watching some YouTube videos, so hopefully this week I'll start using it and be much clearer quality, although I'm not sure I'm going to appreciate that or not, because it's probably going to be more sharp and you're going to be able to see more than you do now. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, you guys have a good week. It's Sunday night, so we're going into the work week, and you'll see me tomorrow. So I'll talk to you again. Have a good night, guys.